You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
LSU will be in Tiger Stadium on Saturday for the open practice, formerly the spring game. Well, they are bypassing a traditional spring game as we have come to know it. They'll have an open practice, no TV, no radio. The SEC gave its league members the option this year of having a traditional spring game on TV or just having 30 minutes of airtime on the SEC network for whatever type of promotional type videos that they want to run. And 15 of the 16 SEC schools chose the TV time for the promo instead of a traditional spring game, which kind of tells you where coaches feel or what they feel about the value of a true spring game. But I wanted to start by giving you a little bit of an idea of what I am going to look for. Maybe if you are going into Tiger Stadium, what you should be keeping an eye on, because the way they're going to structure it is at 10:35 a.m. when they begin, they're going to have individual drills. Now, this is something the media sees all the time when we go to practice. And then they're going to have a first half scrimmage, which will be 2 15-minute quarters, halftime, then a second half scrimmage. And the format there will be TBD, meaning if Brian Kelly wants him to go goal line, they'll go goal line. If he wants to see red zone, they'll run red zone. It'll be a scrimmage, but it'll be a controlled situational type deal. And then when the scrimmage ends, they'll have the autograph session on the field at Tiger Stadium for 30 minutes. So in particular, whenever we go into practice and you see the individual periods, I'm going to tell you the two things that I am generally most interested in. One is the receiver DB drills, and two is the pass rush drills when the offensive line goes against the defensive line in one-on-one pass drills. And the reason that's impactful, and I understand that especially the wide receiver DB drill, that is slanted toward the offense. There's no pass rush. It's just a one-on-one. The receiver knows the route, and there's no clutter anywhere on the field. I mean, the receiver's out wide. You have a defensive back lined up against him. There's no linebackers. There's no safeties. It's just run to a spot on the field. So it's very heavily weighted toward the receivers. But even with that, the past couple of years, this has been an embarrassment. And you could very clearly look 2 years ago to 2023 and go, well, now it makes sense. You had Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and Chris Hilton. Oh, yeah, of course. Naturally, they were torching Deuce Chestnut and Denver Harris. Yeah, it didn't go great for the defense. Well, last year was a bit of an improvement, but at the times I've been able to go watch them run that drill this year, it's been almost a 50-50 split offense-defense. So that's something worth keeping an eye on. And if you watch nothing else, you're going to see receivers make big catches, and you're going to see DBs get burned. I mean, that's part of this drill. But count the number of times the ball hits the ground. How many times there's incomplete passes? If you're at about a 50-50 split right there, that's a huge win for the defense. Like, I know the offense is going to be great. I know they have great talent and depth at receiver and pass catchers and tight ends and all of it. We got to see this defense continue to improve, and they've shown the ability to do that so far up into fall camp, up through spring practice, And then with the offense and defensive line, when you're looking at one-on-one pass rush drills, remember, you get 3 new edge rushers that you've brought into the program right now. And it's not just the edge guys, it'll be the interior guys as well. But you want to see Jack Pyburn, you want to see Patrick Payton, you want to see Jamari Butler, you want to see Gabe Relaford, you want to see Kalaj Cobbins, you want to see Dylan Carpenter. How do these edge rushers fare against a newly created offensive line where you're replacing 4 starters? Like, that's going to be fascinating to watch in the individual periods. If I'm giving you position groups once they start the scrimmage, I'll tell you there's 3 things that I'm interested in. Number 1 is the thing we've talked the most about throughout spring, and it's the offensive line. You are replacing 4 starters. You've brought in 2 transfers. And up until this point, DJ Chester has seemingly held on to that starting center job, beating out Braylon Moore. Now, that could change when they get into fall camp, and I still maintain that it will change. And I'm excited for DJ Chester, but at 6'6" and 320, he's not your prototypical center. And by his own admission, the game was moving fast for him early last season when he was starting at center. You brought in Braylon Moore because he is a prototypical center. He's been a 2-year starter. He's been an all-ACC performer. Like, that's a plug-and-play guy who just needs to get accustomed to his teammates, the calls, all of that works within there. So watch that offensive line rotation. Do you see Chester and Moore rotate with the ones at center? Where does Josh Thompson, the Northwestern transfer, line up? Is he at guard? Is he at tackle? Does he move between the two? Those are the things worth keeping an eye on. Less the results of the plays. I know that sounds silly, but it's less the results of the plays and more where guys are lining up and how they're faring in their one-on-ones, because that's when you're starting to build these rotations and really the pole position on the depth chart for fall camp whenever they get there in August. Offensive line rotation. The other, I'll tell you, is safety. I believe cornerback is going to work itself out because Ashton Stamps and P.J. Woodland are coming back. They played a lot of football for you already. Mansour Delane, and you're going to see him, by the way. You're going to see Mansour Delane, and he will pop, and you're going to look at him and go, who's that freak show? You're going to go, oh, that's Mansour Delane. And he's very clearly a starting caliber defensive back, and I think he will be one of your starting corners against Clemson. But then you got DJ Pickett as well. So that I think is going to work itself out, and I think all those guys are going to play a lot. But safety's been fascinating because we have seen a handful of guys rotating reps with the ones. Tamarcus Cooley, the transfer from NC State. Deshaun Spears. Javen Toviano, who last year was playing the star, now he's playing safety. Joel Rogers, redshirt freshman, who's been playing safety and taking some reps with the ones. Remember, you're not going to see Jordan Gilbert as he's coming back off a shoulder surgery. He's missing all of spring, but he'll factor into that mix as well. So all that to say, this will be a pretty good indicator when you see ones and twos out there in scrimmage-like situations, what they feel like the order is, at least right now at the end of spring at safety. We went through it a ton. Safety was your greatest liability on defense a year ago. It was your weakest position on the roster. So you went out and you added Tamarcus Cooley. Jordan Gilbert had the shoulder surgery. You hope he's better when he comes back. Toviano focusing on one position. Deshaun Spears a year older, a year more comfortable and confident in the defense, maybe improving. But you've got to be better at safety. You were flatly bad. And we've gone through all the Pro Football Focus numbers, and if you want to look at that or just sheer production, Major Burns is gone. Sage Ryan's now at Ole Miss. So you're trying to remake that room and have young, talented guys get more veteran, have Tamarcus Cooley be ready to rip and run from snap one. So watch that rotation as well. And the last thing I'll tell you is the timing with Nussmeier and the wide receivers. We have talked very little about Garrett Nussmeier so far through spring, and with good reason. He's the leading returning passer in college football. There just isn't a question there. Like, you know who your starter is, and he's a very effective player. I believe he is the best quarterback returning in the SEC for 2025. I would take Garrett Nussmeier over anyone else. I understand the hype around Arch Manning, but Arch Manning has started 2 games in his career, and he's got 60-some-odd pass attempts or something like that. I'm not looking at it right now, but the point being, Garrett has gone through all the wars. He's a 4,000-yard passer. He's a 5th-year player. Long-term, maybe DJ Lagway over the rest of his career becomes a better player, but in 2025, give me Garrett Nussmeier over any other quarterback in the SEC. That's not a homer take. He's literally the leading returning passer in college football. But Kyron Lacey's gone. And the greatest pass-catching tight end in the history of the program in Mason Taylor is gone. And C.J. Daniels, who is a security blanket for Garrett Nussmeier and your best blocking wide receiver, is gone. So, 3 of your top 4 pass catchers are gone. You do return Aaron Anderson, who because of the bowl game ended up leading you in receptions and receiving yards. He surpassed Kyron Lacey, and that's fantastic. And you return Xavion Thomas, and you return Trey'Dez Green. But you're asking all these guys to take on a greater role, and you're adding to the mix guys like Nick Anderson and like Berrien Brown. And, we talked about the blocking role that C.J. Daniels had, and, now you're looking at replacing that role this season. So I think that the timing and the cadence between Nuss and his receivers is probably the thing that I'm going to be most interested in when he had so many reps and so much time with the other guys in a relatively short runway here in spring. How does that look with Nussmeier and the receivers? those are the things I'll be keeping an eye on Saturday when LSU has its open scrimmage in Tiger Stadium. Of course, we'll have a full recap of that at louisianasports.net. And when we're back here on AFR on Monday, we'll give you our full takeaway and full notes as well.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.